I wanted to kind of change things up today a little bit. And I wanted to kind of come someplace where it was kind of serene and quiet. On this channel, we talk about the hidden battles that we face on a daily basis, and there are events that could happen in someone's life, or that could have happened in your life, that shaped you into who you are today. Because sometimes those events tend to create a person who just kind of easily sets up barriers. The kind of person that walks into a room and studies the people that are in there and keeps to yourself, and you just look around and you look at the different ones that are there, and you just try to gauge who you think you could trust and who you think you can't trust. It makes it hard when you are fighting a battle that no one can see and that most don't understand. Trauma can come in a lot of different forms physically. And sometimes physical trauma can affect you to the point that you hold things inside and you fight that battle quietly, and you feel like you fight that battle alone. We're not like other people in that sense. When you've faced things in your life, especially if you face them at a very young age, it tends to change you. It tends to make you into something that others won't understand. You build up barriers, you build up walls, and you put up a shield from that point forward to protect yourself. And you do that because you don't want to be hurt again. You don't want to ever be hurt like that again. So you fight every day, and you struggle every day to win that battle. And sometimes you feel like you're never going to win. You feel like whatever that thing is, it's just eating you up inside. It's just tearing you down. most of the people that are around you don't see that because you hide it well. But at some point you have to trust. And that's a very difficult thing to do because you have enough trouble trusting yourself and your judgment. Sometimes we tend to blame ourselves for things that happened. You know? We tend to think that if we'd have done something different, or if you'd have done something different, that things would have changed. No, they wouldn't have. Because the fault isn't yours at all. It's not your fault. And sometimes it takes a long time to come to that realization that the things that happen to you are not anything that you could have changed. Now, at some point, you have to learn that not everybody's out to get you. I still haven't learned that, but at some point you've got to get there. And so that's why you build up these walls, and that's why you tend to hide, because you don't want to let anybody in too close. And if you do let somebody in and they do start to get too close, you immediately build up a wall to protect you from them. The problem is you don't even want to talk about it. Because you feel like if you talk about it, somebody's going to look down on you and they're going to think less of you. And you feel like they're going to use that against you. Some will. Most won't, but some will. The struggle and the battle that we face internally on a day-to-day basis, I'd like to say that it will eventually go away, but it doesn't. It's like when people talk about closure and how they want closure on a situation, or if certain things happen, it'll give them closure. Closure's a pipe dream. Closure's not real. Closure is just basically learning how to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. You have a tendency to want to separate from people as well, because I am content to be out here by myself in the quiet, alone with the sounds of nature, basically. And alone with your thoughts. Sometimes those thoughts can get loud. And sometimes the battle gets loud. When you face trauma at a young age, it tends to cause you to do things along the way in your life that most normal people really wouldn't do. It affects your family life. It affects your relationships. It can affect your job. It can affect everything. But it's in the quiet moments where you have to win that battle. You know, it's in places like this out here, where you just sit and regain your strength. So I'm going to challenge you today to take some time for yourself. Take some time to get away from all the noise and to get away from all of the things in life that you have to deal with on a daily basis. It's okay to say you need a break. It's okay to say I need to be alone. It's okay to say I've got to deal with some things today. And to do it. The one thing that you need to know more than anything you're not alone in this fight. You're not by yourself. No. There are people out there who genuinely care about your well-being. There are people out there that want you to succeed even though you don't think there are. There are also people out there that want to see you fail, but there's more people out there that want to see you succeed. And one of the hardest things you'll ever do is to stand and face the demon that tries to control you. But one day, if you want to win this battle, you're going to have to stand up and you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to say, no more, I'm done. I'm not going to let this control me, and I'm not going to let this control who I am any further. If you can get to that point, you'll start winning the battle, and eventually you'll win the war. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in order to win in a marathon, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how painful it feels, you've got to keep going. You've got to never give up. You've got to keep going forward, or you'll never get to the finish line. It's kind of like the little girl that was driving down the road, and she was a young driver, hadn't been driving very long. And her dad was with her, and a storm blew up, and she was driving through this storm. She saw other cars pulling off because the rain and the wind was just so bad. She was so scared. She asked her dad, "Do I pull off?" He said, "No, keep going." "But Dad, it's just getting worse." He said, "I know. Take your time and keep going." So she did. She kept driving. And eventually, she drove out of the storm. And as she drove out of the storm and the sky cleared, her dad said, he said, "Look in the rearview mirror and look behind you." He said, "What do you see?" She said, "I see the storm." He said, "What else do you see?" She said, "I see lights." He said, "You see the lights of the cars that stopped? They're still in the storm. But because you kept going, you're no longer in the storm and you made your way out of it." So if you don't get anything else out of this today, keep going. Don't give up. Because if you give up, you'll stick yourself right in that storm. But if you keep going, you'll end up out of the storm and back into clear sailing. All right. I know this is a bit long, but thank you for listening, and I want you to take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time right here on Coffee Talk with Paul.